The footer.php file handles everything that happens at the bottom of the page. If I was writing a static HTML site, I'd close every page with these two tags. So in WordPress, my footer.php might just have those two tags, except that you might also want to load your JavaScript at the bottom of your page rather than at the top, or allow plugins to, so slow loading JS isn't preventing the page from loading. WordPress has a nice way of handling this in the form of a hook and a template tag that can be added to the theme's footer.php. A minimal WordPress footer might look like this. Now if I have a function that's using the WP footer hook or a JavaScript that's designated to load in the footer, WordPress will know that I want it to fire when the WP footer function is used. Like the header, there's probably other things you want to put in your footer as well. You could throw in some widgetized areas down there, a credit link, or footer navigation. Let's look at the footer.php in Museum Core. My footer.php starts off by loading the options from the database. This is used for the editable footer text. I'm also loading my default settings here too, in case the footer text hasn't been changed. After that, I've got a closing div that closes out my main content wrapper, and then I start my footer element. Inside the footer, I have 3 widgetized areas that will stack when viewed on mobile devices and not display at all if nothing has been added to those areas on the widgets page in the admin. Each of these widgetized areas is being called with the dynamic sidebar function, which is sort of a misnomer since they can really be used anywhere, not just sidebars. And they are wrapped in the isActive sidebar check, which looks to see if the user has added anything to that particular sidebar area. If there is something in the left footer box, do that left footer box stuff, otherwise move on to the next widgetized area. Under the widgetized areas, I also have a footer navigation. Again, nothing will display here if there's no menu set for the footer location. If there is, it wraps it in a nav HTML5 tag with the class footerNav, and I've hard-coded it so that it only displays the top-level links, no drop-downs here. Under that is the credit area, where the editable footer text can go. I pull this in from the variable I set earlier, but if it doesn't exist, I just load the default footer text from the defaults array that I saved to the AP defaults variable. Then I close everything out, run the WP footer right above the /body tag, and close the HTML tag. The footer.php isn't a required file, but you can pretty much think of it as one. With all the dynamic content flying around in WordPress, the header.php and the footer.php are 2 places where the content is relatively static.